A very good morning to all of us watching us live across the country. This is the Morning Drift, the big conversation. Right about now, we want to get to a conversation that has caused divided ends across the Republic. And of course, we've had a backlash, and of course, it's a threatening backlash as far as the lives of the people is concerned. We'll be getting to a conversation on Murkomen's statements, or remarks rather, that he'd pulled, and of course, many people, including the politicians and the citizens, are speaking about it. Even as we get to the bottom line of the state of the nation right here in the country, what is your context on Murkomen's shooting remarks? There's so much to discuss. Of course, in the next few days, we'll be having the Saba conversation and engagement. We'll also get to understand what beholds that and what is the weight in it. Even as we get to the bottom line, I see Sibur is right here to help us understand the context on all these. We'll also get to understand the president's tour, which now is focused on sealing major economic and diplomatic agreements. Of course, in London, the president will join newly elected UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, and of course, the ongoing operations right there to make sure that that engagement comes handy for the people of the country. My name is Moss Sketch. You're joining us for the first time. This is The Big Conversation. We are live across all social media platforms, including YouTube and Facebook, and also our website www.bluecuptv.co.ke. As we come to the bottom line, remember you can engage with us on those social handles and use the hashtag The Morning Drift. Karibu sana Kiongozi, it's nice to see you.
Thank
you have a lovely court.
Thank you, thank you.
How are you feeling this morning?
Good, I can't complain, but I can't complain because Kenya is still moving to the right direction.
Indeed.
But let me take this opportunity to greet our viewers wherever they are, just to tell them, welcome them for this conversation. It's our country.
Indeed.
We need to move together. We need to talk to each other. We need to sort issues that affect us in everyday situations perspective,
All right.
Yeah.
Now, on the issue on Murkomen, of course, Raila Odinga says, shame on you. You shall not encourage taking away of life in a way which is not constitutional. If somebody has committed a crime, that person should be subjected to the law. If I were still at the helm of the leadership of the law society of Kenya, Murkomen would have faced a motion for removal from office and disbarment. That is Nelson Harvey. And of course, we're having also Nelson Harvey saying once more that the law society CS Murkomen by now, and the justification for that action is the number of people who have been shot in the police stations, a confirmation that there are indeed officers complying with unlawful and unconstitutional orders issued by Murkomen. With that particular state, I believe so many Kenyans were worried, and it comes at a point where we are having a particular critical condition and situation in the Republic. These statements are coming in the context of conflict between, the people and the government, the leaders as well. So do you think that the statement came at the wrong time?
The statement came at the wrong time, but also it shows how retrogressive the CS is in personality. It shows immoral, unethical, very uncouth, and indisciplined, somebody who don't respect the constitution and the rule of law in our country. That statement, if as per now in our developed countries that respect the constitution and the rule of law, the Murkomen could have ought to resign by now.
Indeed.
That statement is not only demeaning our constitution, but also it's a reckless statement before the public. This not just a CS, is also advocate of the law. Is an ambassador of the law because he's a lawyer by profession. And the cardiac principles of law and its audience of reason. You know what's happening in our country. Our country is on a crossroad, and then you stand before the public, the CS of Interior, as a lawyer, and utter such a statement, then it's very regressive, regrettable, unethical, and civilized in the modern society. And I feel and I believe that the Kenyan society, community should come out, the religious leader, the human rights, the Law Society of Kenya, the European Union, include even banning Murkomen for traveling to any European country, because that violates human rights. The law states very well, if you have an issue, somebody is maybe causing conflict, violate the law, take him to court, and then the court will decide whether the person is innocent or guilty, and whether that followed after that. So that is very retrogressive.
All right, Sibur, I understand that there are points in life where we make comments or suggest things, and it turns out that was a mistake, not intended for, and most of the time, people might have taken it in the wrong direction. What do you think is the main intention of this particular phrase that Murkomen says? Because looking at a statement right here, Murkomen has told the police to shoot to kill because the government will protect them. What was the initiation of these statements to begin with?
In fact, civil servants, when you, as a nature of CS, when you utter such a statement, you own your statement because you're speaking on behalf of the government. More so when you're a CS of Interior and we're giving that statement, you own the statement. Owning the statement means that if you, by mistakenly, utter the statement, then you apologize to the nation. Up to this time, place, he has not apologized. But now it's evidence enough that Murkomen is the incompetent CS that Kenya will never have in his life, in our history. Because when Cheregai said that this guy is very incompetent, remember, Murkomen is the only person who has been reshuffled in 4 ministries. So there's enough evidence that the reason why he's being reshuffled, moving here and there, is incompetent. And all these ministries that he has been under his docket, we don't see any meaningful transformation, meaningful development and progress. Now come to the CS. Murkomen, I can assure you that now it's now crystal clear as among the people who planned the goons in Nairobi to cause mayhem during the protest and to loot people's property. And because the police officers were there, they safeguard the goons. After the demonstration in the evening, when people are going home, some of the supermarkets were being looted in the evening. That shows you how incompetent the CS of Interior is. And if you are moving in this direction, I don't think we'll be able to achieve what we need to achieve in terms of security in Kenya.
You mentioned something about shuffling and, of course, in different ministries. Do you think there's someone that is protecting him? Because if there is a matter of incompetence, that means he should step down. Why is he still in this position?
The bar stop with the president is the appointing authority. And when people have been crying here and there, even his close allies of the president, Cheregai is not just a small person, he's a senator of Nandi, I think, where the president comes from, close. He's a close ally to the president. Once people say that, and when look at the CES of Interior, look at the North Rift, the Marakwet, the Pokot, how people are being killed, people are disappearing, abduction, extrajudicial killing in those areas. Children in those areas are not going to school for the last 2 years, actually. The schools are not being open. And this is where the CS of Interior is coming from. If he cannot even manage his own home in terms of insecurity, there's too much insecurity in that area that he cannot manage, then how sure are you that you'll be able to manage the affairs of Kenyans in terms of security? Then is the president to protect him. President is more concerned of his personal interest.
Do you think that's what is building Murkomen's confidence?
Yes, I think that is building his confidence because I understand after giving out that statement, after uttering that statement, he was struggling to defend himself, that he didn't say that shoot to kill. That was not, it was misquoted at some point. I understand that now he's struggling to defend that. But after being told, look, power is temporary. Power cannot last forever. You will be in power today, but you'll carry all this responsibility all the way in your life. The abduction that have taken place, people have died. Actually, almost over 500 people have died in Kenya since this regime came to power. Murkomen will be responsible because he's the Minister of Interior. And he was being reminded that, okay, with that statement we are giving the public today, be assured that at the end of the day, when this administration move out of power, you will be responsible and the law will catch up with you one day, one time. I think that is the time that we started saying, no, I was misquoted, out of context. I didn't mean to say that the police, and even police now coming out and defying his orders. If you look at the standard today, no, thanks, we can't take that such orders, are inhuman are retrogressives this time in place, and we cannot take it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. Members of Parliament allied to the Democratic for Citizen Party (DCP) have revealed plans to initiate an impeachment motion against Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, citing his controversial shoot-to-kill directive as grounds for removal from office. Leading the charge is Manyata MP Gitonga Mukunji, who made the announcement during a prayer and fundraising event of a Corino faithful held at Embu University on Saturday. With everything that has come out of these statements, and remember, in our previous conversations, we had an engagement on why politicians and also people in the government just happen to speak, and at some point they come and plead that wasn't their intention. In this particular case, from where you see it as a political analyst, do you think it's really the best time for him now to step aside, no other reshuffling?
I don't think Murkomen should be reshuffled to another ministry. It's now crystal clear that Murkomen is incompetent. He's uncivilized. He doesn't take the country seriously. It doesn't take the law seriously, and therefore the law society, that I'm talking of religious leader, the law society, the human rights activists, both national and international, the European Union, should now also, as much as the parliament has a plan to censor the motion to impeach him, and as Kenyan, we must put pressure, and then the police are now coming out and defy his order. All these organizations, we come together as a society to push for him to resign. This is not somebody who can be able to lead that docket. And I think even DP said, the former DP said that when Ruto wanted planning to appoint Murkomen, he had reservation that Murkomen should not, that docket needs somebody who's mature, competent enough, somebody will take that docket very seriously, and I think Ruto did not listen to him. And now it's evidence that Murkomen cannot lead that docket. I think it's high time that it's kick out of in totality to lead any ministry in this country.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And after that, then do you think that the country is safe to that context? Yes, he's out of the office. Yes, he's impeached. But what about now the future of the security in the country?
We have, I think the PS is doing a good job. His PS is doing a good job. Raymond Omolo is doing a good job. I think the president must now start organizing who takes over from that docket. That docket need competent person, somebody who take Kenyan seriously. Security is not just, you can maintain road, but you cannot maintain life. When life gone, is gone forever. Maybe theologians will tell you Monday one time you meet in heaven, which some of us are not sure, but you can maintain roads, you can maintain sports, you can lose, and then you get another chance to revenge. There's always a return match, but in life there's no return match. Once you lose your life. When you shoot a civilian who is not armed and this law is there, you cannot recover that life. So that statement for me, I think even it's too late for Murkomen to be this calling himself as the CS of Interior. I don't think he deserves to be in that office. So there should be, you should not get worried who takes over once he resigns or is impeached. The CS will take care of the ministry. Even we can even take that ministry back to Kindike Kituri for some time to run the ministry. There's no big deal, but we need a competent person to run the ministry. That docket is not a small docket in the country.
You know, I was reading here that once in 2013, Murkomen was also a political analyst and commentator at Citizen Television just before the general elections in 2013. And
to Citizen,
does it
be a commentator?
Just commentate.
Yeah.
Because that was the beginning of his career, and Murkomen was also first elected as Senator of Elgeyo Marakwet County in that year, 2013, on a united Republican Party. He vied for the same seat during the 2017 elections, this time on a Jubilee Party ticket, and was re-elected to a second term. Murkomen was elected Majority Senate Leader 2013, but he was later replaced by West Pokot Senator Samuel Polisio as the Senate Majority Leader in 2020. Now, there are a lot of controversy coming now underway since, of course, these remarks were made. In December 2016, Murkomen was accused of laundering funds received from NYS scam by receiving Kenya shillings 15 million into his law firm's bank account. As part of the money received from the scam, they are then paid out to out of the box solution, which then paid Murkomen's law firm account. Now, in the same month, December 2016, Oscar Sudi and former Nandi Hills Member of Parliament Alfred Keter demanded that Murkomen carry his own cross in the scam, and that he shall specifically explain how he received 100 million from the NYS scam that he used to buy properties in Elgon View Estate. Wow. If you look at that situation, then now this statement is coming in. Are there more engagements towards controversial reports from CS Interior?
Murkomen is not new to controversy. He is a man of controversy. It's a man of scandal sagas in this country. He's not new to controversy. But I think President William Ruto gave an opportunity, knowing that docket, knowing very well that the North Rift, where he come from, the entire North Rift and the entire northeastern, North Kenyan region is having issues in terms of insecurity and all that. So having born in that place, knowing all people are suffering in that place, he thought that he can be able to do away with the insecurity in the area. He has failed to do so. That's the area that people are killed every day. So that's one. So then that shows how incompetent he is. Being a majority leader, being a senator in that region, get a docket to bring the CS, he should be able to tackle the issues of insecurity in Kenya. But up to now, he has not done, he does not make any meaningful progress in terms of insecurity in that region where he comes from, which should be the primary responsibility to make sure that these people is secure and all that. He has failed to do so. Number two, is not new to controversy in Kenya. He has been involved in NYS scandals before, being paid, swindling a lot of money from NYS, from his law firm and all that. So I think we have seen enough in Murkomen, and I think enough is enough for him to leave the government. I do believe that now we have a ground for us to say as Kenyans that Murkomen is incompetent.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. Even as we get to the bottom line of that, of course, the reason as to we're having this conversation so in the beginning of the big conversation is because the security of the country now needs to come first, since there is a clash right at the heart of the country and there is so much loss in the country. So when we talk about security being affected, it means that the country is in a big problem. And thereafter, there is this story about the masked man. Please confirm with me, is he dead?
Yeah, if now, I think is of course, if the doctors yesterday released statement to the family spokesperson, the lady, that now is brain dead, it's already dead. What are we talking about here? When somebody if you have the medical experts here, they will tell us that there's no life there at the end of the day. There's nothing to be celebrated. It's dead actually. Yeah.
Because it was a close range shot.
Yeah, if the brain cannot operate, then now you're dead. Now, it's just a matter of time. Even if the heart still beats and breathes, then it's just a matter of time. Yeah, the medical people will advise us that now there's no life there.
Boniface Kariuki, when we heard about his report about, we had assumed that he's dead. Later on, the reports came in and say that he's alive. He's just, not in a good condition. Do you think he had already died? Death,
for someone to be declared dead, I think medically, the doctors, when still breathing, you can be declared dead. But I think they are doing some surgery to make sure they see if the brain is intact and all that. But the heart was still breathing. That's why they were saying that it's alive. But now when medically they have confirmed that the brain can function, then they called the family yesterday to break for them the bad news that indeed has happened. We now need to move to the next course of action. Yeah.
It is so sad.
It's so sad.
When we're having the conversation now, we are having an interior problem. Then, of course, we can't forget the fact that there is also an exterior one. So how will we initiate a change as far as the security of the country is concerned, both within and beyond?
We have to admit as a country that we have a problem with the security sector in this country. Let's see what's happening after the protest. There's blame game between the government and the opposition. The government comes and say this thing was planned by the opposition. The government has got the system, the machineries in place, the intelligence to tell them that these things have been planned and you need to take an action. The government itself promised the protesters they will take care of them, they'll give them security and all that. What happened on the process? Why is the police station which managed by the police being banned? it was something that was stage managed by the government, because it's now crystal clear. If you're telling me that the supermarket was banned because the opposition plan, and the same police officers were there when the supermarket is being looted and they are giving the goons the security. Number two, if the opposition plan their protest, the goons, or maybe to cause mayhem, the government has got intelligence to give them this information and all that. Up to now, the third one, no one has been arrested, taken to court to see that these are people who plan the mayhem, brought the goons that caused looting and everything, kill people, rape women and all that. No one has been arrested. So that shows when, and then the following morning, this interior CS walking around the CBD asking people, playing PR, how many people have been affected, how many people their shops have been looting and all that. Those are nonsense. Indeed. The government have got intelligence that need to give them information. And again, if the opposition plan protest in 27 counties in Kenya, ferry people from Nyeri to Muranga to Busia to Kericho to Eldoret, then that opposition is very strong. And to congratulate them, they are very strong against the government. If the government is telling us it's indeed is the opposition that planned the protest and planned the looting, then the government does not have the moral authority to be the head of state. They need to resign. We don't need to have a government in place.
In all this conversation, and the government is involved, and perhaps there is a sense of control that Interior CS must really collaborate with the head of state. Then we are in a very bad situation as far as the country is concerned. Because do you think now the government needs to strategize as far as its security is concerned?
First, the government need to accept, before even going to give a strategy on how to handle the security matters, the government need to accept. You know, there's always the problem we have in this country. We not accept the reality. We like blaming each other, changing, kicking ball here and there. We are not facing the reality head on. The government need to accept there's a problem in our country. There's the youth in our country are saying, stop extrajudicial killing, stop abduction, stop corruption, create employment, make sure health system is working, make sure the business in the country is thriving, make sure the university model system is working. The government is not listening. You will see a government who, even the PA, the personal assistant to the head of state, working with money, like people who don't know what they're doing. You see the deputy president walking with money every weekend, carrying money in bags, in sacks, walking everywhere. That is not the government that you are yearning to. That is not the government that we want to see at the end of the day. We want to see a government that accepts there's a problem. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a conversation. Let's work on these issues that are happening. The other day, the head of state met the security sector in the State House. I didn't hear anything how the government is going to improve the economy, how the government is going to improve the issues that youths are raising, how the government is going to stop extrajudicial killing, how the government is going to stop torture. All these things they did not talk about. He was just telling her, no, don't joke with the police, respect the police. If you don't, he's giving them full support, meaning that is the one leading the team for extrajudicial killing. Because if the head of state cannot tell them, okay, if somebody has an issue, arrest this person, take this person to court. Because at the end of the day, the bar stop with you. You must give an order that respects the constitution. Right. The head of state is not respecting the constitution at this moment. That's the first thing. Before the government puts a strategy in place, how to plan on our security, the government must accept the issues that are there, that we are yearning for. We are yearning for a better Kenya. We are yearning for a better Kenya that kill its citizens, especially the young people, does not have a future. It's something that we cannot be proud of. Yeah.
All right. My good teacher and friend, where did I issue shoot live to murder command? Having been your good student, I know better than to make unfounded statements. I merely restated the law that you participated in, its formulation. As you may recall, the 6th schedule of the National Police Service Act in paragraph B provides the conditions for use of firearm, which include the protection of life of officers or civilians, protections of property, self-defense against threats of death or serious injury, among others. I'm happy to continue this debate with you over a cup of tea and listen to any other perspective on your interpretation of the above provisions. Have a good evening, Mwalimu. Then Kivuta Kibwana, of course, 2 days ago replied, do you know that due to your shoot leave to murder command, you will now and in the future be held accountable, just what Sibori mentioned earlier, for every extrajudicial extermination officer of the court at Law Society of Kenya. How was I your teacher at UON Law? You understand that statement? Of course, because of time, I'll let you comment in the next session, and of course later on we'll get an understanding of that. My statements on conditions for the use of firearm by police officers have seen debates, reactions, and expressions regarding my recent statement on the use of firearms by police officers. My statement was made contextually and consciously with clarity of mind based on the express provisions of the law. No leader, scholar, jurist, journalist, blogger, or opinion shaper has challenged me on the law. At my age, position, and experience, I cannot utter statements that are not supported by the Constitution and the law. Throughout my career, I have never, in my conduct or utterances, found myself on the wrong side of the law. Indeed, the 6th Schedule 2, self-defense, and of course 3, property protection through justified force, 4, preventing the escape of felony suspects from lawful custody. There's so much debate to that, then we'll see what's the end of the tunnel. It is 28 minutes past 9 a.m. We're taking a breather. When we come back, we'll highlight now what is in the context of the Sabasaba. Don't go too far. This is the big conversation.
How do you start your engine when it is time to drive? Are you a first-time car buyer or want to upgrade your wheels? Do you know your car brand? Is it powerful, stylish, or does it turn heads as you drive past? Well, let's get to know all about wheels on the Daily Drive Show with Ian Otieno as we review all automobiles inclusively, specs on powertrain, interior, exterior, and pricing. Get on board with Ian Otieno for a dose of automobile scene on Lookup TV.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the wheels and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the bust of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late. You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji. Welcome back. You're watching the Morning Drift right here, the big conversation, and of course we are still embracing the state of the nation. And the big conversation is underway, ladies and gentlemen. The conversation is also on our social media platforms, www.lookuptv.co.ke, and Facebook and YouTube, Lookup Television. The conversation on Saba Saba is still emerging at a time when the country is facing chaos and conflicts between the Mwananchi and the government. Last week, of course, many Kenyans got their grief to the central business district and across the country. There was such an alarming concern and consideration that the government should have taken keen off. And of course, when we're embracing the interior conversations on security, it was still a menace. Ladies and gentlemen, when we are having this conversation in Saba Saba, what is your thought on the same? Now, before we get to that, do you think that now we will be having a total crisis in the next few days on the 7th of July 2025, which is in regards to the Saba Saba? And they're saying, of course, the Saba Saba day on 7th July celebrate the context. And of course, there is this battle that is coming up, and of course, there's so much interest in the same. But we also having the conversation that political leaders should come in handy to make sure that this day not only invites conflict, but also it's a peaceful consideration towards all this. Now, Sibor, please comment on this. It is a time when there is a menace, there is a total clash.
At the reasons why Saba Saba came in place and people, Emanyara people spearheads, the group of people spearhead the Saba Saba at that time. And you look at the Jay-Z, what they're fighting for is they have the same common goal. They have a common goal. Because at that time, there was extrajudicial killing for the government in place. By that time, there was abduction, there's no thrive in the economy. There's tribalism, the state was full of pride of power, and when you look at now the Jay-Z, that now, but I'm saying that they have one thing in common, they are fighting for state to stop abduction, for killing young people, extrajudicial killing, state to stop corruption, state to listen to them, education system, things to work, economy to thrive. So they have things in common. But as I said last time that we have a state, we have the administration who does not listen to its people. We like to change the goalpost from one place to another instead of facing the reality. We must accept, we as Kenyans, we must have a conversation. We must accept there's a problem in Kenya. And this problem, we can only sit and dialogue. We cannot deny forever that...
we've had many dialogues.
Yeah, no, but now this serious one, because the people have been moving for dialogue. We have realized they've been moving for their own interests. You remember when the Standard said last week that Raila betrayed the cause? They move for their own interests. They are coming, so they have never solved the problem.
Indeed.
So there's a time Miguna said, we'll have a generation that will come that will not know the tribe. They will come together and to be a revolution in the country. I think the time has come. And also the things that we've been keeping, we've not been solving for many years, now come to pile, and now this generation is yearning for change. They're yearning for development. You're yearning for a new era. So this is the time. Even if you have been having a dialogues, the people have been being called for those dialogues. They are going for their own interest. They have never gone for the interest of the country. We need a dialogue that look at things holistically. Look at the interest of the country. Look at the interest of the youth. Look at the interest of the employment. Look at the interest of health sector and all that. Economy, everything to thrive. That's why people will go back to the street on that particular day. If that dialogue will be called on the State House, the State House will be there, stop where we'll have the lunch.
That means that the streets is a must.
The street is a must on that day. You can't call
do you think that is
house.
the best way for a dialogue?
Yeah, because I said here last time, look at, after the BBC gave us the documentary, published for us the documentary to show us what happened, and we have accepted that almost 67 Kenyans lost their life. What have the government done until this time in place? They have not reached this family. They have not even initiated the reconciliation. Forgiveness to this family, leave alone the compensation, because you cannot compare life with money or something or material things, but at least show remorseful, show that okay, this happened, maybe it's happened by mistake, but we've reached to you, we have apologized for that as a state. We have not done that at this time, and I said the language these people want to hear is going to the street. Now they will start saying, oh, we are losing a lot of money, billions of shillings, the economy is deteriorating. Even if they have this money, we are not failing it on the ground. There's no roads being constructed. We are seeing PA to the government, personal aid to the president, working with the money in the bank. It's become a money yard in the village. Even the MPs who have the responsibility under the constitutional office are following him like a money bag. We have the deputy president working with the money over the weekend, doing nothing, become an NGO. Even if we build economy today and this money is not being used in terms of development, we are wasting time. It's a matter of wasting time. So we are saying, let the government listen to the people. Let's say, okay, enough is enough. We have issues here and we must sort these issues. Last week actually, and part of last week they were saying there's a blame game. It's the opposition who organized the violence. It's the government who organized the violence. The government is the one who organized the violence. I can say here, because the government has got intelligence. If the intelligence has not given the information to the state and the state need to act immediately, then the police officers escorting goons, then now what shows you is the government who organized the violence, but you cannot tell the opposition that they organized the violence in 27 counties. Then mean that opposition is very powerful. Then the government does not have any business to run the state. They need to vacate power. Yeah. So we must accept there's a problem and we must sit down and dialogue and solve this problem this time in place.
Indeed. Right, we've had dialogues on television and the politicians and the head of state speaking about realignment and changing the country's view and the perception of how things are running. Then therefore, the dialogues have been there. I'm really hoping for a better one this time, and including that, of course, as we near the 2027 general elections, we'll be having a complete taste of that dialogue. On the 7th of July 1990, Kenyans took to the streets to demand free elections. The politicians who had called for the protest, Kenneth Matiba by that time and Charles Rubia, were arrested days before the protest day. Now, in this context of free elections, we had that, right? Then at this particular point in time, why do you think there is a need for these people to get their grievances right to the heart of the streets. And of course, I believe there'll be menace and chaos. And if the State House is involved in this particular context, I believe there's this shoot to kill anthem that is now coming in. And nearing the State House will become a chaotic scene towards that. Is there not another way that we can embrace Saba Saba?
We have got 2 weeks to the Saba Saba. I think 2 weeks to the Saba Saba. The government is the government of Republic of Kenya has got the mandate and responsibility to call all the stakeholders on board and to listen to them.
Who are they?
To listen to them and to listen to their opinion, their views, their idea, how we want us to make a country a better place and all that before the Saba Saba day. So if they will not listen, I don't think the government will still have reason to blame other people, the key stakeholders on being in the street and all that. Because we have given them time to listen, to see how we can make change. Nobody want to ban their country. No, who want to ban their country? This is the only country we have.
Who should get involved in this Saba Saba? Who should get involved? Is it the Gen Z? Because at that time, by the way, they didn't understand.
I think now for this one is any Kenyans who feel the country is not going to the right direction. Because you and I have got different issues affecting us. Some you have students who are going to the university. I've told you the other day, the students who joined the technical university last year in September, they are still in the first year. They don't know when they go to the second year. More students, they are not sure. The School of Medicine, they are not sure when they are going to graduate. They are not sure. University of Nairobi have been operating without the Vice Chancellor for the last 1 year, or even the Council for the last 1 year. And things, the finance model, the university model, finance model is not working. So everybody has his own issues. There's parents who have lost their children in a mysterious way. There's people who don't have jobs. So anybody who feel in one way or the other things are not working will move to the street. This is not the Gen Z streets and all that. It's everybody who feel the government is not listening to us. The government is not moving to the right direction. We'll move to the street.
So you think that the context on Saba Saba might change?
The context must change, but it's the same issues that we've been advocating for. The good governance, respect of constitution, human rights, the security, the education, the health. These are things that we've been talking about. I don't want to sit and see a country where the vice president, the deputy president carry money in sacks, walking around every weekend. I don't want to see a country, I'm not happy in a country whereby the PA to the president carrying money in bags, they become money bags. Even the governors are now dancing in his shoes and in his feet. I don't want to see such a country. I want to see a country that is clear in policy, taxation. I want to see a country where there's roads, infrastructure, schools are being built, hospitals are working, education model system payment, finance is working. I don't want to see, we want to see a better country.
As you analyze that, I believe how can we keep ourselves safe in regards to that? Yes, we want completeness and understanding this particular day and ensuring the fact that there is a problem in the country and there is bad governance. How will the Mwananchi keep themselves safe in this coming day? Of course, it will be on a Monday.
I want to urge the government. When you look at the Imenti OCPD, when he led Mandamano in his, I recommend and I'd say congratulations to him. If I could get him, I could buy for him something. Indeed. I think as a present. Because he led the Mandamano in that Imenti South, in the town, the whole day with the protesters. There was no losing of life. Indeed. There was no destruction of property. Everybody went, at the end of the Mandamano, he bought for them some drinks. People went home and all that. Why can't we get such leaders leading the security? We went to, I remember in some town in Kisii, one OCS was talking to the protesters. What do you want me to do for you now? We've been demonstrating the whole day. Why can't you now bring this? As a father talking to the children. And I think the Mandamano was stopped. Everybody went home and all that. I'm urging the security, the police, to give security to the people. The protest and demonstration is allowed in the Constitution of Kenya. Peaceful demonstration, not carry anything, don't be harmed, and everything. So the police is the mandate to make sure that the citizens are safe, the citizen go to the street. At the end of the day, nobody is supposed to loot someone's property or destroy property. You don't have that right because you have to respect that in the constitution. At the end of the day, we go home after the demonstration.
All right.
Yeah.
Sawa. President William Ruto has responded last week to opposition calls for his resignation, urging Kenyans to reject violence and hate. Now, terms are limited. You are either 1 term or 2 terms. You cannot have more than that. What is the craze about terms? So let's look for solutions about our challenges. Solutions cannot be found in terms. It's about a strategy and a plan. If it is Ruto must go, tell me how you want me to go. What do you mean by Ruto must go? How do I go? We have a constitution in place, dear Kenyans. So President Ruto, of course, reiterated his willingness to allow another leader to come on board and really embrace this conversation that there is a need for change. But if you look at those statements, what do you think the head of state really meant? Is it that, getting out, of course, 1 term is too difficult?
First, President Ruto must be honest with this discussion. Huh? If you want, because he's the head of state, first he must accept there's a problem in our country, and this problem, he must initiate the dialogue, sit down with people, try to understand what are the problem, because the other 2 years down the line, President Ruto was the darling of the people, and actually was voted, and people are very happy about him, because of the manifesto and what he promised Kenyans to deliver and all that. Up to now, none has never been delivered. None, it's just been stories here and there and all that. So he need to ask himself, why did I become enemy of the people so fast? Down the line, 2 years down the line, I'm now becoming enemy of the people. I'm now losing the ground. I have voters. Anywhere I go, is President Ruto must go. So he must be honest to initiate the dialogue. Kenyans are yearning for that dialogue, and they are ready for dialogue. Nobody wants to ban their country. We want this is the only country we have, and we need to protect it. Number 2, Ruto, if he already accepted that there's no dialogue, so I must go, and he has accepted the song of him going, he should not pretend that he doesn't know how he's supposed to go. The Article 137 of the Constitution is very clear how the president should vacate the office. 1, through impeachment, 2, incompetence, bankrupt and death, and now in this case is incompetence. Look at what he's doing, involving in extrajudicial killing, human torture, abduction, tribalism, nepotism, ethnicity, corruption, much in his government. So that's already violated the constitution.
But he mentioned something good that he did.
No, I'm going to go there, but I mean, I don't see anything that Ruto have done good since he became in power, because what I was expecting even to, when he said that within 100 days the police salary will be increased, 100 days Unga will be bought at 70 bob. I've not seen. So if you are not able to basic things, you cannot be able to tackle basic things. How do you convince me that he has brought affordable housing, which I don't see anybody of my friends saying that I got a house anywhere? So how do I praise something that is not there? Most of the things Ruto is saying is just PR. Because if I look at the list of the head of parastatal in Kenya, I find that there are 210, I think, and 120 come from the Kalenjin community. So what else do I say is good? I don't see anything good. If I see Murkomen that has given the job saying the shoot to kill, that anybody approach the police station, so what is good there? If you cannot respect human life, then what is good? I better remain poor, but I'm intact. My life is there. You better be poor, but then you guys, you are safe. You can be able to maneuver your way out. So I don't see anything good by this time. But let me go back to Article 137. The president is asking, how do I go? The president came with the wheelbarrow. We have enough wheelbarrow to give him to go. That's 1. Number 2, the Article 137 is very clear how the president should vacate the office. 1, through incompetence, maybe impeachment, bankrupt, and even death. In this case, the Radhans is very rich. Is among the richest right now in the president in the world. That's okay. He's not bankrupt. Death, we cannot wish someone death. But then we are saying now incompetence, he can leave the office. It's so simple and clear. So he should not ask Kenyans. But again, Kenyans are even willing. If he doesn't have money, we can initiate the pay bill to send 100 for him to get the money and he leave the office so that we can do our thing. We can move forward, because that is the problem. He is the problem now in the country. As things stand, he is the problem.
Do you think the weight is too much on him? Just as the wheelbarrow, of course, when it gets so much load for quite some time, the tires start having a problem, and of course, there is a breakage. Well, what do you think about the initiation of change? The fact that now he's been in the office for that time, and maybe he's thinking about the 2 term. Twitter, I'm embracing the fact that, you know, the things that I've done possibly in the last few months that I've been in office, I will accelerate them to a better tomorrow.
You know, I wish you guys to tell us what Ruto have done that can be embraced in Nyanza, can be embraced in Northeastern, can be embraced in Rift Valley where he come from, can be embraced in Central, in Western. He promised the people of Western that he give them 30% of his government. Did he did that? That's nothing. Even he has accelerated more than. He promised that he will deal with insecurity. Where he come from? Schools have not been open for the last 2 years. Where he come from? So where he said that he will deal with issues of extrajudicial killing, the Riviera will have to stop and all those things. People have lost their life here in Kenya. Is more than 500 since he became the president. Actually. So what else? If you cannot respect someone, respect life. What else you say that you have done good? Yeah, I don't see anything Ruto have done good.
Okay.
Me, what I see is Ruto have done PR, and I don't think. For me, if you ask me, I don't think Ruto deserves to be given a second term by Kenyans. Even if you read at these, Americans are getting tired with him, his regime, and America are the people who managed to give him power. So I don't think people are tired with him.
All right. So as we come to the bottom line, President William Ruto has reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to strengthening diplomatic ties with Ukraine, citing mutual gains in education, food security, trade, and ICT. Of course, yesterday, 29th of June, I visited that place, speaking after holding bilateral talks with the Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal in Seville, Spain. Ruto said the partnership is vital for both nations and other citizens in initiating change towards, intercontinental relationships and, of course, countries' relationship. We are heading to the better ways, of course, in achieving the greater glory as a nation.
I think Ruto is just becoming a tourist. I think those traveling are not making any sense to us. Ruto have traveled since he became president for more than, I think, 50-something.
There's no positivity towards this
There's no positivity towards that. You know, when you travel, when you come back, we must be able to see something. Maybe the organizations that are coming, the countries that are coming, go to back you in terms of infrastructure, building schools, building hospitals, building airports, people coming in to at least help in development. But he has traveled more than 60-something or 50-something countries. We don't see any change. In fact, if you look at the budget, he has allocated himself 12 billion for the State House. The State House is operating in 12 billion. Then mean that in a day, in a month, State House is operating 32 million. In a day, State House is operating in 1-point-something million in a day, because 12 billion. He decided to reduce the capitation and the school programs, feeding program, to 3 billion. And again, he wanted to reduce to 600 so that the State House can get the money for him to travel and all that. Right now, the budget for the State House is 12 billion. In a month, they are operating in 32 million, roughly. In a day, the State House consume 1.3 million. Instead of this money going to infrastructure, because that State House was built with below 40 million by that time, you are putting almost 900 million to repair, or 877 something million to do maintenance of the State House. For what for? When an individual live there with this family, and there we have schools, we have hospitals, we have security issues and all that. So I think Ruto is just, for me, I think Ruto is just using this is a tourist personnel, somebody who is just on tour. I don't think, in fact, these are just Kenyan media exaggerating where he went to Spain. I don't think there's something tangible that is going to come out from there.
All right.
It's just stories. We are used to those stories, by the way.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, we've embraced everything as far as the current issues are concerned. Now, even as we get to the better glories of the country, and maybe some time we'll be speaking about positivity and a good tomorrow. What needs now to be done with the Mwananchi, with the politicians, with the leaders, and everyone involved in making sure that we have a better Kenya? What really needs to be done? Political analysts as you, to shape this country to a better glory.
First, let us stop blame game. Let's stop blame game. Let's come to the table with clean hands. Let's come to the table being honest to one another, being honest to our country, and put the issues that are being articulated, that are being looked at, and we say that if it's unemployment, is it true that Kenyan youths, many of them are not employed? Is that fact or lies? If it's matter of corruption, is there corruption in Ruto's
Right.
government? If it's a matter of extrajudicial killing, is there extrajudicial killing or not? If it's a matter of abduction, is it continuing or not? If it's a matter of health sector, is it working or not? If it's a matter of taxation, is it Kenya wamechoka na hii taxation? Is it true or not? So then we put all these things on the table. Then we ask ourselves, how do we get ourselves in this situation? As a government, as a people,
All right.
how do we come out of this problem? Then we fear the way forward. How do the government now spear this to a glory? Because we need a prosperity. We need a country that thrives. We cannot be there forever. Or else we'll going back to the old days, the dark days, where if you echo your voice on what's happening in the country,
Right.
you disappear. We
Right.
don't want to take that. The government must accept. The problem in our country, the other day when there was Mandamano, they blamed the opposition. When there's a protest, they blame the opposition.
Okay.
This opposition must be powerful stigma that need to be dealt with once and for all. But there's a strong opposition that have come out very strongly. The Gen Z are very strong. If they thought that Rigathi Gachagua or Raila is still the opposition, they are misled. That's a
Right.
wrong notion, concept.
Sawa sawa.
We need to come together and converse.
It is an honor.
Talk as a country.
It is an honor to have you, sir. And of course, now I would like you to just look at your camera and, of course, give a voice of wisdom to what is in 1 minute, with the reflection of all these. Now, you just in 1 minute shed some light towards all this.
I want to take this opportunity to ask the head of state and the government to at least call for the dialogue. The country is not moving in the right direction. There's issues that are there and they need to be resolved, and stakeholders need to be brought on board. The Catholic bishops have called for dialogue. The humanitarian organizations have called for dialogue. The young people are calling for dialogue. The politicians are still divided. Well, how do we do this dialogue? But it's the head of state to initiate this dialogue so that we have a country, a better country, a country that we are united, we move together for prosperity.
All right. Sawa, thank you so much, Sir Stephen Juma Sibur, for making time for us. And of course, the engagement right here on the Big Conversation Look Up Television is done. We are at the headquarters, and remember, of course, we are also online. Look Up Television on YouTube, on Facebook, and our website. See you tomorrow as we embrace matters health.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations.